What is up, everybody? My name is Hyken, and this is the G-Wolves Hati S Stardust. Let's dive right into this review, shall we? This is a symmetrical mouse, although I wouldn't quite call it ambidextrous since we only have side buttons on the left side of the mouse for right-handed users, but it's a slightly smaller version of the original Hati, also from G-Wolves. I also absolutely love the look of this specific version of the mouse. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, how could you not like this thing? This is probably my favorite mouse that I've used so far, at least in terms of looks. I like this one even more than the Grexta. It'll cost you between $65 and $100, depending on the version of the mouse you get at the time of recording. There's a solid red color for $65, and then the version I got, the black and blue one, it's at $100 right now at the time of recording, but it only cost $90 when I bought it, so keep an eye on that price. It may go down. There's also a pink one available for $70. In the box, you get a metal tin, the mouse, 2 detachable cables, an extra set of PTFE feet, 2 extra switches, I believe these are TTC pinks, some grips for the sides, left and right mouse buttons, and the back of the mouse. You also get a brush and a bag, and of course, a manual. I swear that like half the price for the mouse itself is included in all of these extra things that you get in the box, including the metal tin. It seems a little bit extra to me, maybe not the most necessary, but I can appreciate this as someone who unboxes a lot of mice. I definitely appreciate the amount of effort and work that they went and put into making sure that this is just a really good unboxing experience. Also, I do want to clarify, this is not the Hati S wireless, although that does exist. It's just a little bit harder to get your hands on right now. This is a wired mouse despite the detachable cable. It's just to make swapping out the cable a little bit easier if you have a paracord that you want to plug in, or if you have a faulty cable for whatever reason. Shape-wise, this is a small mouse, so it feels right at home for fingertip grip especially, and claw grip too, although I would say to a slightly lesser extent. Palm grip is definitely serviceable here, but only if you have medium or small hands. If you have big hands and you try to palm grip this thing, you're probably not going to have a good time. The button height is pretty low in the front, and the hump of the mouse is also fairly towards the back, and there's a pretty steep slope going from the top of the hump all the way down to the back of the mouse. That makes it really good for fingertip grip, in my opinion, and it helps with claw grip a little bit too, although more of a tense claw grip than a relaxed claw grip. I really enjoyed fingertip gripping this mouse. I have a little bit of a modified fingertip grip, but even people that use just a straight up fingertip grip will have a great time with this mouse. I felt like my aim was on fire, as I'm sure you're seeing in the awesome clips that I have up on the screen for you right now. I'll also put the measurements up on the screen for you right now. These are measurements provided by G-Wolves. It's on the Amazon listing. I just took it from that, so feel free to go there and check out the measurements more if you'd like, or pause the video right now. The sensor here is a Pixart 3389, and it performed really well in this mouse. I had 0 sensor issues to speak of. Also, if you're worried about the detachable cable coming undone even just a little bit and causing sensor issues, don't be. It's in there really good. It's not going anywhere, at least not on my copy. You should be just fine, so don't worry about that having any effect on your sensor at all. Sensor performance here was excellent. The mouse also features a very impressive 49-gram weight, which definitely makes sense considering that like 85–90% of the surface is covered in holes. The holes here don't bother me at all, and even if they did, that's what the grips could be used for. You could at least put the side grips on so you don't have to feel the holes on the side of the mouse. That will add just a little bit of weight, so keep that in mind if you really care about that 49-gram weight. But yeah, I never used them because the holes just don't bother me. The PTFE feet here are also pretty good. Combined with the 49-gram weight, you have an effortless glide that gives you some really good tracking once you get used to how light this mouse is. These aren't the best feet that I've used, but they are really quite good. I don't think that buying an aftermarket set of feet here is necessary. And just a reminder, they do give you that extra set of feet in the box, so if you do need to swap these out for whatever reason, if you're using a more coarse, rougher mouse pad that kind of eats away at the feet and you want to swap them out, you definitely have that option. But you won't need to take them off in order to paracord, just if you want to do switch mods. Left and right mouse buttons here are Omron 20 mils, and honestly, I didn't believe that these were Omron 20 mils for a little while. Like, I thought that these might have been like TTC Golds or something, but you can actually see on the inside of the mouse, you can see 20 mil written on the switch. So these are definitely Omron 20 mils, and they feel excellent in this mouse. I have never used another mouse with Omron 20 mils that have felt this good. There is seriously zero pre-travel here. Like, I have never used a mouse with this little pre-travel before. There's a little bit of post-travel, but I really mean just a little bit of post-travel. It's nothing to write home about, not even a post-it note home about, so don't worry about pre and post-travel. These are legit the best switches that I've used in terms of pre and post-travel on this mouse. We also have pretty much zero left to right movement when these switches are pressed down as well, which is awesome. You want to see that. The side buttons are pretty much the same case. There's very, very little pre and post travel on them. I am really, really impressed with the buttons on this mouse. The scroll wheel and the scroll wheel click feel pretty medium. They're not very light, but they're also not incredibly difficult either. I would say that the scroll wheel click is maybe on the higher end of medium, but I think that the scroll wheel itself definitely falls right in the middle. I'm a big fan of those as well. And then we also have the DPI button on the top of the mouse. You can go into the software and rebind that as well. We also have a report rate / polling rate, whatever you want to call it, button on the bottom that will cycle between those for you. So you don't need to download software to change that. All right, here's a sound test for all these awesome buttons. Build quality wise, I'd say that this mouse is actually really, really good despite having 85% of this mouse look like Swiss cheese. During normal gaming use, there wasn't any creaking that I would be alarmed by. Obviously, if you pick the mouse up and you squeeze it in your hand, yeah, it's gonna creak because you're squeezing it in your hand. But if you just use your mouse normally, not like a maniac, you'll be fine. There's nothing here that really raised any red flags in my opinion. The cable here isn't my favorite. It's pretty rigid and stiff, although it does glide on the mouse pad very well. It's not super noticeable, but I would really suggest paracording this mouse. I mean, there's no reason not to. You just buy another paracord. Several paracord companies do carry paracords that will work just fine with this mouse. All you have to do is change the cable, unplug it, and you're good to go. That's it. That's all there is to it. There is really no reason to not paracord this mouse. It was nice of them to give you 2 cables, but I really think that if you pick this mouse up, there's no reason to not spend the extra $20, $25 to get a paracord on it. All right, for the software section of the video, we're gonna cut over to the computer and I'll talk to you there. All right, so here we are checking out the mouse software. So first off, we have 3 different profiles to choose from, and then there is not really much RGB. There's just a little logo right here on the inside of the mouse. I'm sure you've seen it on the B-roll shots. But you can change the lighting effect on that. It's nothing really fancy there. And then of course we have button remapping features. Of course, we have the DPI loop set here. You change it to a key combination, DPI multimedia, DPI lock, fairly standard stuff here. And then in the basis tab, we have the DPI stages. I have this set to 1, 800 DPI. That's all I use. It's all I need it to. And that way I don't accidentally change the DPI by hitting the button. I can keep it on 800, not worry about that. And then you can change the color of the lighting here as well. I have it set to pink. Thought that would go nice with the blue, match my mouse pad. And then over in the advanced tab, we have liftoff distance, USB polling rate, cow line, which I believe that this is just a different name for mouse smoothing or pointer acceleration. You don't want that on. And then the debounce time as well. I'm not messing with that. 16 milliseconds by default. And then we have a macro system here as well. All right, back to me for the conclusion of the video. Alright, so do I recommend this mouse? Yes, wholeheartedly yes. This is an excellent mouse for fingertip grippers. It's alright for tense claw grippers. Relaxed fingertip grip and palm are pretty iffy. You may want to look elsewhere, but fingertip grippers and claw grippers like myself, you are really gonna like this. I think that these switches are actually excellent in terms of pre-travel and post-travel. They feel so crisp and refined. They are just so good, and I think that the glide is really good. The 49-gram weight, I mean, come on, you can't get much better than a 49-gram weight right now. I will say I do think that the price is a little bit high. $90 for this mouse, I don't know, that kind of hurts a little bit, but I definitely think that it's worth it. If you do want to pick this mouse up for yourself, I'll leave some links down in the description below. Those will be affiliate links, so they'll send a small commission my way at no extra charge to you. Really helps out the channel, helps me buy more mice, keyboards to keep the reviews going. Alright, remember to hit that like button and that subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!